welcome back to Open Your Eyes. And our first conversation is with the folks from the Belize Corporate Companies Registry. And we have with us Miss Yuri Alpuche, and she is a project manager over at BCCAR. Good morning.
Good morning.
And next to her we have Santiago Gonzalez, and he is the deputy registrar over at BCCAR. Good morning.
Good morning.
And lastly, Miss Danielle Bullen, and she is a legal officer over at BCCAR. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good
So
morning.
we've been kind of having a conversation off camera about redefining the business name registration with BCCAR, and it's more to modernize the bill essentially.
Yes.
So I want to start with what the bill previously was first, and what essential changes you all have been making to kind of modernize it to fit this 2025 era. So let's start with you, Danielle.
Sure. So the previous bill is quite old and outdated. So it was first enacted in 1950, so that's really outdated. We actually conducted a diagnostic assessment just to review and see what are the shortcomings with the legislation, and there was a lot of work to be done. So it did not align with our legislative framework. It didn't align with international standards. There were some inconsistencies. It wasn't in keeping with our other legislation related to companies. So there was a need to modernize the legislation.
How would it potentially impact and benefit the business community in Belize?
Well, first of all, it's a lot more straightforward. It's a lot more streamlined. The procedures are a lot more clear. And then it also clarifies the duties and the powers of the registrar. So that makes things a lot more straightforward. When the law isn't clear and there are inconsistencies, that causes problems for everyone.
Why has it taken this long? If we're saying that the piece of law is antiquated, it's drafted and enacted back in the 50s, that's a mighty long time ago. And I would want to think that in the business world, things are always evolving.
Yeah.
So we should have legislation that match and that grow with business.
Right.
Why has it taken this long?
Well,
Yes.
Armin, you'll be surprised to see the amount of legislations that we have that are very old and outdated. I mean, you know, it takes someone to take interest in the law and to review it and to benchmark it against other jurisdictions to see if indeed we are competitive. The Belize Companies and Corporate Affairs Registry was brought under the Financial Services Commission in 2022. And that's when the team really started taking a look at all the different business entities we have in Belize. We have many actually, and I think the public is not fully aware. Of course, the main entity that business owners utilize is a business name. Why? Because it's a very simple type of entity. It's very cost effective. It's just $25 to register a business name, and then you can start your operation. So that this is really why that is the most popular entity that the public or the businesses in Belize utilize. There was a major amendment done in 1987, and then there was another one done in 2022 when we brought on the online business registry system to allow business name to operate in the system. But there are pieces everywhere. So now it's a good time to bring it all together and just overhaul the entire business name bill, and to bring in other modernized practices and to make clear, like what Danielle said, to ensure that the restoration rules are clear, the cancellation rules are clear, the registration rules are clear, the rules around why a registrar would cancel a business name are clear. If someone is doing something they should not be doing, you know, the registrar has the power to be able to go in and to clean up the registry and to cancel that business name. And then there are new features that we're looking at. Business name as it stands cannot restore. So let's say you shut down your business name, you close it down with us, and something happens. So there's no ability to restore that business name. So now we're bringing that feature into the bill, and we're also looking very closely to see how we can bring in the feature of transitioning from a business name type of entity to a company, because there are two different types of entities. And this is something a lot of owners ask, is it possible for us to do that? And now with the system, we're trying to see how we can have that transition happen to work with the business community.
How are these bills and laws being reinforced in Belize? And I ask because, you know, sometimes a person is operating in full swing with just a business name. And what does the law say about somebody that just has their business name registered? Are they supposed to be fully operational? Do they operate? Can they operate? What are the procedures to register as a business fully instead of just having your name on the registry?
So I think to answer that, we need to define what the business name is, Santiago.
Which is, it's very important when you look at everything. A business name is basically, I'm doing the business. There's no separation from myself or, for example, the company, which is the entity on itself. So all liabilities on everything is in a business name. So our advice on the owner, we would always advise, and just to follow up in a conversation, and this is where this idea came up, that as a business name or the owner, you can continue as a company, because the process right now is you would have to dissolve the business name and then incorporate, and it shows like if you're just starting. So in actuality, we want to show a history, because there are people, operating this way, and their business, we do understand that you start small, your business starts growing. So this is where the education begins, and we're like, as you get bigger, it is better if you transition into a company because of the liability. It doesn't fall on you and the owner. Something goes wrong, it's basically everything you own, your house, everything would go. So that would be the main difference with it.
I presume that sensitization has been quite a challenge in terms of being able to have people receive, those who are in the business sector who are invested in this, have them receive this particular message and take action.
Well, in actuality, we've been around. We've visited, even we've been in the villages, and that specific one, we actually saw an uptick, where when we're explaining to certain business owners, they would close their business name and incorporate a company. So I would say that in that part, a lot of them are doing listening, and again, the education continues. We're out there explaining all of this. Even with the new features, like we're saying, yes, we put it under the companies, but before you register a business name, and that's it. Now, there's other steps that you need to take. It's just not registration, filing of your status. You could actually, and business has changed, so you can get a good standing. You get your detail extract, your certificate. So these are things that we have noticed that other institution, a financial institution, we actually have BTB. That's one of the ones, that request these documents. So it's there and easy access for the client.
How does this bill help business owners with intellectual property and copyright infringement?
So intellectual property and copyright, where do you take that?
I would say that it's basically a first step. So having the name is a first step, but of course that doesn't protect your intellectual property rights just off the bat. You are, I would suggest that you then go and register your trademark. So it's just the first step of other things that could be taken, but it's, I would say, just establishing your name, your brand out there. That's really what the business name registration process is.
A simple example, just wanted to expand on what Danielle just explained. Let's say I have a very specific business name, and I've invested, I've created my brand, I've created, my different branding colors, etc. I've launched my different pages. Registering that name is your first step, like Danielle said. But if you want to protect the brand, you want to protect the services that you do around your brand, and that is the next step that you need to take. You need to go to Belize and register that logo and register the services, so that if anyone else comes to try to mimic or come close to you, then you have first right, and you can take action to protect yourself.
Which we've had cases.
Yes,
we've had many cases where, and certain steps are taken, so your name is
Protected.
it's protected. It is protected, because one of the things that we realize here in Belize, that the business name is used for several purposes. There are some people that will register a name, and it's just a name. They're not doing business, but maybe for the future, so it's a name reservation. So those are things that we're looking at.
There are also restrictions.
Yeah, there are also restrictions.
What are the restrictions?
Let me see, assurance, banking. We're trying to remove that from a business name. In other words, not because you register a business name, you can do financing. So there's a lot of words and some restrictions there to try to, rein it in, because again, a lot of people would register a business name and don't get a license from central bank, or they're saying they're a pawn shop, they're a lending institution. So yeah, those are some of the main restrictions that we have.
I'm curious to note how you are all incorporating modern tech with this new bill. I imagine it would be more of an online registration, and then how can folks, more with people with the mom and pop shops and businesses that are not so tech savvy, how would they be able to do this?
Well, the business name registration is already happening in the online business registry system, and the registry participates in a lot of roadshows. So they partner with anyone, whether it's Beltrade, whether it's the different ministries, whether it's the Department of Youth. We've had many invitations, BTB, and even, our own different roadshows. That's how they're trying to reach to the people. And as Santiago mentioned earlier, one of the areas that we still need to do more work with are the villages. We've touched on municipalities. We work quite closely with the different municipalities, but the villages, I think, still need us to go there in person and to talk them through everything, and to make them realize that registering brings a lot of value addition and helps to preserve and protect and build them up as a business.
How would you tackle a space or an area that have these mom and pop shops and these areas, these villages that perhaps don't have internet, or how would they do this? And of course, the roadshow helps, but if they have to, I don't know, refine their license or re-register again, what would they have to do?
Well, actually, that was one of the points that we took into consideration. We were looking at this, and when we did the online business registry system. But I think now, having the online business registry, we see registrations from all parts of the country. So I don't think internet is a problem. But still, we're there to help. It's not like we do understand the issue, and sometimes we try to partner with the municipalities, like maybe Punta Gorda, we had San Pedro, we had Belmopan, we had different, where they are able to assist their public, if they go there and they want to register trade license or whatever, they are able to assist these people to register, renew, whatever with their business.
Have you been able to perhaps look at certain trends in terms of parts of the country that are registering more businesses than others? Perhaps that speaks to maybe a boom in certain sectors or certain parts of the country?
Yes, we have. And actually, when we launched the online business registry, business name has been increasing. Right now, I think for the first time that we're taking records, there was a month that we did over 400 a month. Wow. That is a lot. I think right now the average is a little bit over 350 a month, which again, it's great. We've had like 3,289 in 2023. We had 3,800 in 2024, and we expect that this year it's going to increase. So with that, we're saying it's working. It is there. We still know that we have to visit again more the urban areas, the villages and that, but we would say it's working.
What are you finding? Perhaps is it that you have more people who are doing business name reservation as opposed to people who are actually registering the names of their business and then actually pursuing it as a concern?
What would you say? It would be a bit, but I think for us to know if they're just reserving, but I think it's more what we're seeing, like the tourism sections. We're seeing a lot of people opening small businesses with juices. You have people that do braiding. So food, catering, that's one of the things. So, but one of the main, it's tourism that we're seeing there.
What are the requirements to operate as a tangible business? And I say tangible because we have a lot of businesses that operate online only, and
the requirements are the same.
Same.
Okay.
The requirements are the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
The same.
In terms of your ID, you need to ensure that you have the information of your business filled out, your address, your phone number, your contact information, information on the owners, whether it's an individual, partnership, or another company owning the business name. So those are really the main requirements.
And what would be the penalty or penalties if you're operating without a business name or you're not registered under the BCAR?
There is none at the moment, but this is one of the features that we want to bring into the new business name.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna send me like a list just
There is
wow. I'm actually very surprised.
Yeah.
So people can't just, or they do.
They should not.
They should
not.
Yeah.
Because the law says you should register.
And what does it? How does it help them? How does it boost their business in some sort of way if they register with BCAR?
So one of the trends, or one of the things that has been helping us, is the financial institutions have been pushing business owners to come and register. Why? Because we're very connected in the global world, right? And there are many different things that we need to abide by: anti-money laundering, due diligence when it comes to KYC. So you're seeing this more and more. This conversation is happening more and more in different areas of the economy in Belize. So banks are very strict about, seeing a lot of income coming into your bank account. If it's a business, let's set up your business account properly. But in order for you to do so, you need to ensure you're registered with the company's registry. So that's one value addition, in that when you start formalizing, you start accessing more services, and you can maybe even apply for grants. You can, put in bids to bid for different contracts. So there are a lot of value addition to formalizing and registering your business, and the partners in the ecosystem are working with us, and we're working with them as well. I mean, for us, the goal and the vision is to really have that as once policy happen in Belize, in that once you've asked the client for certain things from one institution, then that information should follow in all the other institutions, and we don't need to be repeatedly asked over and over and over. So, there's a big
process is that though?
Well, it will take a lot of work. It takes all institutions to sit down and agree on some kind of information sharing. But other countries have done it, and it works beautifully. And actually, other countries have laws against asking a client for the same information over and over. So, I mean, it's something, and it also helps to control and to protect your data and your information, because there are controls put in place, and there's a clear understanding of how data should flow and how data should be shared. And certain types of data are restricted, certain types of data you can share. So we have a way to go.
I know that you've been working on this for the better part of 3 years, as you've mentioned.
Yes.
How close are you all to coming to an agreement, a conclusion of it, and of course informing your business clientele?
So when it comes to information sharing, I mean, that's an ongoing discussion. We constantly have that on the table with the different partners. When it comes to all the work that's happening at the registry, yes, in 2022 is when the system launched. The system was launched with 3 entities services available. Now we have 4 services available. So we have business name registration, we have company incorporation, and we have limited liability partnership registration. Last year, the end of last year, we launched a movable property and collateral registry. That's going really well. We have close to 1,000 registrations. And that is a success for the country, because when we were doing our research, the other jurisdictions that have such a similar registry said it's not being used. So we took all these, advice and experiences from other jurisdictions, and we tried to plan for Belize to ensure that it's a regime that people are taking advantage of. So that's what we have. And every year we keep working to expand the system. This year we're bringing on limited liability companies, which is different from companies, Belize companies. Next year we want to bring on trust. And at the end of this year we want to bring on foundations. So as I mentioned earlier, we have many entities in Belize, and we have our work cut out for us in terms of educating the public of the features and the benefits of these different entities. Because maybe a company doesn't work for you, maybe you need a trust, or maybe you need a foundation. So these are the different entities that we have. Yes.
You put out a call to basically ask the population, the business community, what they think about these new features and so forth when it comes to BCAR and how they can register their business and so forth.
Right. So the call is for the business name bill proper. We have the draft posted on the website, on the registry's website and on the FSC website. We also have published a consultation paper. So that consultation paper outlines the different features of the bill and is asking the public, what do you think about this? What is your feedback on this? Is this enough? Is it too restricted? So that's how that consultation paper is drafted, and it's the first time that we're implementing such a model. Before, when we draft a bill, we would just put together a group of stakeholders and have them guide the drafting of the bill. Because the business name bill is a bill that affects the whole populace, we decided to change the model and to really bring in everyone and anyone in the public to have them give their feedback. So how they can give feedback, we have, as mentioned, the bill and the consultation paper published on our website. We also have an online questionnaire published on the website, and anyone can participate. We're planning to do direct communication with different startup business associations, different institutions that have some kind of interest in the business name. And we're also planning to do a series of virtual and in-person sessions throughout the country to ensure that we're hearing from everyone. And we're asking the public to really participate, to reach out to us, to give us suggestions, to see how we can improve and ensure that we capture their needs in the business name bill.
I know how difficult that can be to get.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
Sometimes after the fact, then you're going to start hearing, right?
That's usually the case indeed. But before we close, do you have any final thoughts for our viewers this morning? And of course, just to maybe go over some of the details when it comes to redefining this bill.
Right. So for me, I just wanted to wrap up with the period. There is a very specific period for consultation. So we went live with the bill and the consultation paper the end of July, and the consultation period runs for 90 days. And we want to see what we gathered in and see if there's a need to go back to get more information from the public. But for now, that is the period, and we're asking again the public to once again participate.
On our part of the registry, we're really asking for them because we're doing this for the public. You the business owner, there is a responsibility again for you to do, and we're trying to make it easier, but we really can't do it with your help, without your help. So that's a big part for everyone to really look at it and point out things. We think that this is going to work better than what it is right now. So those are things that we actually want to hear. That's the feedback.
What I would say for any viewers that this may have piqued their interest and they're now thinking maybe I should register a business name, feel free to contact us. We have customer service representatives. We could be reached via email, via WhatsApp, a phone call. You can even pass by our office. We would be happy to help and answer any questions that anybody may have.
And the website that they can go on to look at the consultation paper?
www.bccar.bz. And please follow our social media pages. We're always publishing updates on the social media pages.
Wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And of course, as they rightfully mentioned, if you have any thoughts about this new bill and the consultation paper, just head on over to BCCAR.bz for your input. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more OYE. Don't go away.